Assalamualaikum to Meduwengi. Today, my group will present about risk management. So, I'm Nur Ima will explain about introduction of risk and classification of risk. The risk that our group choose is wet floor. When the fence surface get wet, they get slippery. Floor will get wet from spilled drink, raining, and mopping. It only takes a bit of moisture to turn a dry floor into hazardous slippery floor. Floorboards, concrete that can become more dangerous when a fluid has not been adequately cleaned up. The wet floor can make the people become injured that caused by not putting sign. A slip and fall injury may result in severe injury like broken bones, traumatic brain injury, knee or ankle injury, nerve damage, muscle sprain, and strain, and others. When someone steps on a slippery floor, they can claim for damages for medical treatment costs. The injury can negatively impact a victim's life. So, it affects college when the injuries can lead to expensive medical bill. So, day-to-day expenses can become overwhelming after a serious fall-related injury. And the pain and suffering can serve as a constant reminder to the accident. Now, I will explain about classification of risk. Classification of risk is divided by two, which is poor risk and speculative risk. Okay, poor risk is when a slippery floor are a danger to anyone who walks on them. We are all busy and distracted. We are busy checking messages in cell phones and rushing to go somewhere. Therefore, they had no way of knowing the floor are wet when you spill on it. The accident was avoidable and happened because of there was negligence in terms of duty of care. It can cause by slip and falls, of pain and suffering, and even death. So it will affect someone's health condition, and they have their rights to claim for damages. Speculative risk. A wet floor injury claim is made by someone who has suffered as a result of slipping on the wet floor. So, the staff is liable to pay compensation for the injuries that person suffered. This is because no wet floor signs was present as the worker's negligence. Due to the suffered injury, staff will need to bear the loss after paying hospital bill treatment. And yet, the staff need to pay for the damages for the personal injury that the person suffered.
Okay, next I will explain about risk management process, which have 5 steps. The first step is identifying potential losses. It is a process by which an organization is able to learn of the area in which it is exposed to risk. So we have identified that the cafe will have the more risk for students. The losses can be classified as the court award to the third party since wet floor was causes of negligence of the cleaner in Mara Professional College in liability. If there is a student who fell and injured because of the wet floor, college will compensate to the student. The loss next is the loss exposure is identified and determined through observation and personal inspection at the site. So we doing observation in cafe and we saw that the cleaner did not put the signboard to say that the floor is wet. So student will know. So student will know the floor is wet. So the student will use another way to go to cafe. Okay, the second step is evaluating potential losses. We determine and estimate the impact of losses by frequency, which is we refer to the number of the time the loss occur. In this case, student fell out of the floor because they didn't know it was slippery, and the cleaner didn't put a sign that the floor was just mop. The cleaner should put the signboard because cleaner needs to be taken care of because the cafe is a place where many students will go down and buy food or anything. Next is severity, which is referring to the maximum size of loss. In this case, it is possible that the student may have crack in the hips, buttocks, thighs, and possibly crack in the hips. It can also cause headache as a student fall and headache on the floor, cause swelling and possibly memory loss and so on.
Step 3. Examining the risk management for the techniques. There are 2 types for this steps. First is risk control and second one is risk financing. Risk control is method to evaluate potential losses and take action to reduce risk. There are two techniques, which is risk avoidance and loss control. For the first one is risk avoidance. When you spot a spoil, and you must clean or mark the areas so that people will not fight. Second is loss control. Loss control is by doing first by loss prevention. You must change the floor if the floor texture can make others felt. Second, you must put the wet floor sign so that people will know about the floor was wet. Next is loss reduction. There are two. First is before loss and after loss. Before loss, you must put the mat and the wet floor sign. And after loss, you can immediately call the ambulance if the person that sleep on the wet floor get injured. The next control is risk financing. This control is the organization will pay for the loss. We choose for self-insurance. Self-insurance is, for example, KPM Air Molek will pay the student or staff that is injured by the wet floor.
Is step 4. Implementing the risk management program. There are two factors of selection, which is financial and non-financial. The best and most cost-effective risk management program based on the selected factor, which is financial criteria. Implement the safety first program in order to build a humanitarian aspect of awareness effect. For instance, install more wet floor sign when necessary, and of course it costs financially. A metric can be used to classify various exposure according to frequency and severity. The lower the frequency of loss prevention, the lower the severity of the risk assumption. Step 5. Controlling and monitoring the program. All things considered, always be alert to make sure that the floor is dry, and make sure to clean the floor carefully when the floor is wet.
Next is basic principle of insurance contract. Insurance is a method of pool risk exposure that protects policyholders from financial losses. Insurers have created many tools to cover losses related to various factors such as automotive expenses, healthcare expenses, loss of income through disability, loss of life and damage of property. So our group decided to choose insurable interest as a basic principle of insurance contract. Insurable interest is a type of investment that protects anything subject to a financial loss. It specifically applies to people or entities where there is a reasonable assumption of longevity or sustainability, bearing any unforeseen adverse events. Insurable interest must exist at the time of inception of the time of loss for all classes of insurance aspect. First is life insurance, where insurable interest must exist at the time of inception. Second is marine insurance, where insurable interest must exist at the time of loss. 9 million student of Mara Vocational College is suffering a lot due to the impact from fall cost of wet floor. He had to undergo hospital treatment because of a broken arm and his head was hit on the hard stuff due to sleeping on the wet floor. Therefore, he can claim the insurance from the financial loss for his medical expenses in hospital.